Hello, JPU family. Welcome back to your channel where we deal with facts, accountability, and the issues Jamaica deserves clarity on. Guys, today we're talking about the Maroon Chief of Accompong, Richard Currie. In a 7-minute long video, Richard Currie addressed the Jamaica government publicly and said that he appreciated their generosity where Hurricane Melissa is concerned and the damage is done to the community. However, he would be rejecting the offer to have the JDF assist with the rebuilding. So, why did Chief Currie publicly reject Jamaica Defense Forces engineers after Hurricane Melissa destroyed nearly 80% of Accompong? What stands out to me most is that the chief did not decline quietly. He posted this formal announcement on Instagram, tagging the Prime Minister, tagging Babsy, and tagging the Jamaica Defense Force. He said the decision isn't about rejecting cooperation, but it reflects Accompong's ability to manage its own recovery through civilian channels and international partners. So the question is simple. Is this genuine sovereignty or political optics? Let us rewind. The decision is not a rejection of cooperation. It reflects Accompong's capacity to manage its internal recovery. Those were the words of Currie, right? On the surface, it sounds noble. It sounds like, hey, we can manage, we're capable, we're independent. But look at what he's actually saying. Materials, yes, he'll take it. Labor and engineering expertise, no thank you. JDF's presence in the community, absolutely not. And that's strange because the JDF's engineers are trained for exactly this kind of disaster recovery. Clearing land, rebuilding roads, repairing homes, installing temporary infrastructure. If 80% of homes are damaged, you have a good leader who really sincerely cares about the well-being of the people and the way forward. You need manpower. You need equipment. You need logistics. You need boots on the ground. So declining that level of help during a crisis with massive amounts of damage is not a small decision. It's a big statement. And it forces us to ask, what is really going on behind this? So listen, because there's a long, very public tension between the Chief Currie and the Jamaican government, the JLP government, especially the Wholeness Administration. You see, Currie went and joined the PNP, spoke at their conference. It kind of backs him in a corner a little bit. But when I saw the Prime Minister and the Culture Minister went down there, I thought this was a fresh start, an opportunity for everybody to mend fences. And sometimes, disasters can bring people closer, unite countries, right? So this kind of came as a surprise to a lot of people. Remember, during the standoff between Currie and the government, you had this issue over land rights, you had the issue over the mining, you had the claims of sovereignty and government interference, and in 2021, there was a conflict where the JDF had to remove illegal structures in the cockpit country. So for years, Currie positioned himself as a defender of the Maroon independence against the government. Then came the last general election where Currie appeared aligned with the opposition PNP in messaging, tone, and public engagement. And the opposition lost the election. Let me just take a pause here. It's important to note that there are about 5 Maroon communities in Jamaica, and none of them have a problem with the government. It is Accompong under Chief Currie's leadership that seem to have a problem with the Jamaica government. So, as a chief, You say that you're the leader of the people. You clash with the government. You politically align yourself with the opposition. We have the disaster, and now we have unity between chief and the government. So that is the whole backdrop of everything. So where we are right now with this offer, Prime Minister said, listen, I will assist with equipment and I will let the JDF come in here and help you, right? Guys, I know Accompong very well. And to be very honest, I don't want to speak down on the community because the people are lovely. But Accompong needed whole heap of help before even the storm, right? So to have this hurricane now come, it's devastating, right? Now, you would think that Currie would accept every help that is offered. Whether it's overseas help, you hear him say overseas help. So if you accept overseas help, or you don't want to accept help, engineering help from the JDF, people are asking, is it that Currie is hiding something there? If Currie wanted to decline the help, I think the right thing to do was to reach out formally to the government privately and say, hey, we will accept the material and thing, but we don't really feel comfortable with the JDF coming in here. Better you did do that, right? Or is it that accepting JDF help today would mean acknowledging the authority and usefulness of the same government that Currie publicly opposed for all those years? Is it ego? And sometimes, political narratives become cages. When you build your identity on resisting the state, accepting state assistance becomes a dangerous thing to your brand. So is Currie backed in a corner? That is the context behind the post on Instagram, it seems. You have people like Spragabins out there who are big up him chest and say, yeah, Currie, Spragabins has become the big conspiracy theorist. I don't know what's going on there. And then you have the Buju Bantans and, you have the PNP operatives who are say, Currie, be careful, don't trust them. That is the tone and the language. But if Currie is a real leader, Currie would have done things the right way and take this opportunity. Because this government is going to be there another 5 years, perhaps even another 10 or 15 years. So Currie should have taken this opportunity of peacemaking, and maintain that peace, even if he decides to reject or refuse the help of the state. He could have done it a different way. What does civilian channels and international collaborations really mean? Currie says Accompong will handle rebuilding through civilian channel and international partners. It sounds good. It sounds very official, very diplomatic. But here's the problem. We have no details about it. Who those partners are, who is paying, how logistics will work, where the manpower will come from, or how they'll rebuild homes for hundreds of families without engineering support. You cannot repair 80% housing destruction with vibes and volunteerism. Does Currie really understand the magnitude of damage and what it takes to get it fixed? This isn't a brush fire. This is structural damage across an entire territory. So, yes, Accompong has community strength, and we're not knocking that. There are some great people there. Yes, Maroon culture is resilient. But realistically, this scale of disaster requires serious technical support. And rejecting the JDF, the country's top disaster response unit, raises more questions than answers, because if sovereignty is the concern, we accept foreign help but refuse local help. Like I said, that's a total contradiction, and contradictions always points to politics. So why make this public? Why tag wholeness and tag the JDF? This is part of where everything comes into focus. You're declining help from the government, fine. Leaders disagree. But why would you come out in this video 7 minute long. Posting it on Instagram, posting it, Prime Minister, tagging Babsy, tagging JDF, basically announcing to the world that you don't want soldiers in the community. Because let's just tell the truth, guys. Tell it what it is. Currie now want a soldier down there. Why not call the government privately, man? Why not speak directly to ADPIM? Why not handle this discreetly and respectfully? Because the government come down there with goodwill. You know, this wasn't just communication. This was a performance by Currie yesterday. A political message to his supporters and, the people that I mentioned who gas him up, his critics and to the national media. That's what this is about. This was branding. This was theater. This was image management after a political loss. The statement didn't just reject help. It reinforced the narrative of Accompong independence at a time when the government is positioned as, the one offering tangible support. Come on, man. If it shifts the story from government helping Maroon community to Maroon community standing strong and refusing government support or intrusion, rather. That's politics. So who really benefits from this decision, Currie? In every crisis, leadership is measured by one thing. Who gets help and how fast? So let's ask the uncomfortable question. Do the people benefit when trained engineers are rejected? What about the elderly benefiting from political symbolism? Do families with roofless homes benefit from optics? Do children sleeping under tarps benefit from the public sovereignty statement? Because while leaders debate, people are living with the consequences. The JDF isn't a political army. They're disaster responders right now. They were the ones clearing the roads, bringing the supplies, delivering the care packages. They did it during Gilbert, Ivan, Dean, Sandy, Beryl, and every flood event. This isn't partisan. This is humanitarian. Refusing that help doesn't punish the government. It punishes the people who need the assistance most. And that's why this decision is so, controversial, to say the least. I know it's not a time when controversy is going to sell because the focus is on the people who are, victims of the storm. It'll always be on them until they are, reestablished in secure homes and stuff like that. So if Chief Currie genuinely is saying that he is going to handle this alone, maybe, just maybe, he believes deeply in, autonomy and self-governance. Maybe he fears government intrusion. Maybe he wants to protect Maroon independence at all costs. But the timing, the method, the public tagging, the rejection of national assistance while accepting external help, the political history, all of that raises legitimate questions. Let me just say this. If none of the Maroons was the chief down there, and in at this time, you think she would have refused the help of the engineers and JDF? No, she wouldn't. The war that Nanny fought was against Mark Golding's ancestors. So Andrew Wallace would be no threat to her at this time. And she would stand up for her people by accepting the help. Andrew came in peace. But Currie looked like he had to find some way to put up a resistance. What is this all about? Tell the people. Because it runs a little deeper than what's on the surface. I mean, we kind of know what it is, but just be honest. So all of this raises legitimate questions. This looks less like, a simple decision about sovereignty and more like a calculated move to maintain political footing after a national shift. Leadership isn't just about statement, it's about impact. And the impact of this decision will be felt not by politicians, but families whose homes need rebuilding now. JPU family, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to attack Currie or defend the government here. I'm just here to highlight what matters and just call it what it is. Can't afford to beat around the bush right here. So when 80% of homes are destroyed, the priority must be the people, not politics, symbolism, not Instagram statement, but people. I mean, if I were the leader of anything, of the Maroon community, with the damage and the devastation on top of a community that hadn't seen any development in so long, I would be taking every help, as long as it's good help. And the government was providing good help, But what I say is, if Currie is going to behave that way, in one breath I want to say, look at Prime Minister. No bother with Currie them. Allow them. Not give them nothing at all. You understand? Because it's kind of messed up what Currie is doing. But then again, if the government go down to Currie level now and say, all right, you know what, the JDF come help with the engineer, then we're not going to give no material. That's going to be very low. Let Currie take the low upon this. So Prime Minister, if you promise them, say, I'm going to give them the material, give them same way. Give them same way. You hear? Because you know what, I hear say, Prime Minister look war, because we know say you not look no war, but you can have the people them walk out there say, you go down in the gutter with Currie. Make Currie have the gutter, man. You understand? Anyway, guys, this is Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Let me know what you think in the chat. Please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with somebody. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.